Hey there, and welcome to Elysium. My name is Ellie, and happy Shark Week! Though honestly, I think by the time this goes up, Shark Week will have been last week. But, you know, every week is Shark Week if you believe. Sorry if there's a glare on these glasses, they are not anti-reflective. So today I am going to do a kind of test tutorial. It's not really going to be a DIY sure thing, it's going to be an experiment. And I thought regardless of the outcome, it would be fun to try it with you guys. So what I'm going to be making today is my own DIY rainbow highlight palette. Now, if you've been in the beauty community at all, or watched YouTubers at all, or been on Instagram at all, you've probably seen the Bitter Lace Beauty Rainbow Prism Highlight Palette for sale on Etsy. It's, I think, $22, not including shipping. It's a shimmering palette that's very, very bright and illuminating, but at the same time has like a prismatic rainbow effect on your skin. It's just very beautiful, but it's also $22. And I'm the kind of person who doesn't spend a lot of money on makeup. Along with the rise of popularity of the palette itself, it's also a rise in people doing DIY Pinterest sort of make your own rainbow palette. And I've watched a few of them and they look super fun. I kind of don't love the dark pigmented colors, and I wanted to try for something that's really light and illuminating and highlighting like the original palette itself. Which I don't really use a highlighter on the daily, but you know me, everything has got to be ridiculously colorful or I probably won't wear it. So when I saw a rainbow highlighter, I knew I had to try this. This is either going to be really awesome or a complete failure, and I can't wait to find out which. So here's my setup. I have some plastic cups that I'm going to be using to put the color in once we get it out of the bottles. I have a plastic fork to scrape the product out of the containers if necessary, and a coordinating plastic spoon so I can do my mixing. And they have to coordinate because if you're going to be colorful, you gotta coordinate. Ooh, my nails even coordinate with that. Look at that. I didn't plan that at all. 91% rubbing alcohol, which, as a side note, if you do gel nails at home, this is by far the best product I've found for wiping off the tacky layer. It is so much cheaper and more readily available than the actual cleansing products that come with gel kits, and it works fantastic all the time. And here are some various and sundry containers. I think one of these is empty because it's my very favorite powder is Stay Matte by Rimmel London. I wear this every day, and as you can see, I ran through a whole container. So I'm hoping this is the container I can use to place my highlighter when we're done, but it may be too big, so I have an NYC Smooth Skin Pressed Face Powder, which is also mostly used, which is nice. I won't have to be wasting too much product. And I also have this e.l.f. Clarifying Pressed Powder. I think I got this on a trip somewhere at Target on sale because I thought I needed powder and I didn't really. So yeah, this is mostly full. I would feel really bad if I had to scrape this out and use this one, but judging on how much pigment I have out of the other containers, I may have to pick this one just because it's small. And for some reason, I picked up this yesterday at Walmart. It's Wet n Wild Mega Glow Illuminating Palette. I thought just in case we don't have enough white to make the highlight, I could use this very pale pink strip here. I have a knife, which is actually, it's very dull. It's my tomato cutting knife because it's serrated, but it's actually gotten really dull over the years, so I'm not so worried that I'll hurt myself. But also, if you're doing this at home, I very, very strongly warn you to do it with supervision. If you're young, please ask a parent to do it for you. And if you're like me and reckless and kind of clumsy, just be very, very careful with sharp objects like knives. For colors, I am using LA Colors Shimmering Loose Eyeshadow. I used to use this stuff daily. It's available mostly at dollar stores or very small variety stores, as my town has. And it's very pigmented, very pretty, very shimmery. The applicator is the worst, but we're going to be depotting these, so don't worry about that. These are, as I said, available mostly at dollar stores, so they're very cheap, but they last really well. I like them. So I have Lollipop, which is a nice pink, and I have, what is this one? I think it's Sunshine. I think this one is called Sunshine. It's a nice gold color. It'll be very nice and shiny for a highlight. And Some of these are taped shut because they were in my makeup bag for about 1.5 years now. But this is Spring Fling. It's a really nice green, kind of a pastel green. I have Tropical, which is a nice blue. And Grape Jelly, which is really, really pretty lilac, lavender, very nice light purple. And for the orange, I am not using an LA Colors. This is from Shiro Cosmetics, or Shiro Cosmetics, I don't know how to pronounce that. This is a blush called Gelato Beach. It is from the Mario Sunshine Blush and Bronzer collection. I absolutely love this stuff, but I can't wear it that often because it is so heavily pigmented. It's very coral. It's shimmery and shiny and beautiful, but I cannot pull off coral blush. But I thought maybe it would make a very nice orange in our rainbow highlighter collection. And then for the highlight itself, I am using the LA Colors Shimmer Powder in Snow White because I thought white would be a really nice highlighting color to mix in with the rest. Instead of going for a pale orange or a gold, I thought a shimmering white would probably highlight my skin tone best. And in case we don't have enough of that white, I thought we could mix in some of this pale pink from the Wet n Wild Illuminating palette. And if we don't have enough still, I have an e.l.f. baked eyeshadow palette I got on sale for I think $5 at Target. And it has some very pretty shimmering colors. Oh, this must have fallen off. Okay. I've never used any of these. I just bought it because I thought the colors were pretty and I thought maybe I could use it someday. And it has a very nice shimmering white that I thought we could depot this as well if we need more white highlight to mix in with the colors once we separate them. So to depot these, we're going to start with the Lollipop Pink. As you can tell, I have my rings and bracelets off, except this one, but I never take this one off, and I got it for $6 on Etsy, so I'm not very concerned about it getting colored on it. It'd actually be kind of cool, maybe. Anyway, I have made sure that I have a clean environment here because I hear this gets really messy. I'm going to try to keep it as tidy as physically possible, and I am going to be following a tutorial I watched on a channel by Amaretta Sour 82. I will link to her video below so you can watch it too. It was the most clear and cohesive and just easy to follow tutorials on how to get these colors out of the jar, because these jars, if you've never used them, they are absolutely ridiculous. They kind of have this plastic V shape, and down at the very bottom is where the pigment comes out, and you have to get it with this teeny tiny, impractical, and weird brush. All the time I've worn these, I have used this ridiculous small brush to do my application, and it's a wonder that I ever looked decent in middle school. Anyway, we are going to depot these so that we can just use the pigments themselves without having to shake it out of the jar, because that would take a ridiculously long amount of time, which I do not have. So we're going to start with a knife or a very sharp object. Be very, very careful as you're doing this. And we are going to try to pry up the base of the jar. Okay, we're going to try an older jar and hope that possibly being old will help me get this easier. I told you, if I'm gonna fail where everybody can see it. Alright, well, on today's episode of I have no idea what I'm doing, I was trying to carve around this part, which is the hard plastic part. I was trying to wedge my knife in there, and I actually think this is one hard piece. It's the little middle part with the label. If I had watched my video tutorial closer, I would have realized the middle part with the label is what you are actually supposed to be prying up with this, and it's approximately 50 times easier to do that. Alright. So now that we have our first pigment, we are just going to dump it straight into the little plastic container. That is so satisfying to look at, and it's so much more product than I thought was actually in these things. I swear, I used to use this every day for about 6 months, and this is the exact same container I used every day for 6 months, and look at how much is still left in there. That's actually really impressive. And I am going to go get a makeup brush. I forgot to mention that before. You will need a makeup brush to kind of sweep out the containers and make sure you get all of the product you can out of them. Whoa! Green glitter flying all over my room. It's great because my room is actually green and black and white stripes, like a circus. That's my driving inspiration for painting it, in fact. My driving inspiration for most things is to make it look like a circus. So now we have our green, and I think that's lovely, but we're going to add even more highlight to this to make it a little more pastel. For now, we're going to set it aside and start in on our next colors. This is getting easier every single one we do, and we are also getting messier and sparklier. Man, I like this stuff. I'm gonna look like a rainbow prismatic unicorn fairy when this is done, and I have no complaints to that. Wow, that is a nice gold. That reminds me of Zelda. You can just see a Triforce in this kind of shimmery, powdery gold. Oh, that would be so pretty. By the way, who's hyped about that new Zelda game, Breath of the Wild? Man, I cannot wait. For this one, we aren't going to be doing like any depotting. It's going to be just scooping a bit of this out. I've had this for a really long time. It kind of leaked all over my makeup bag at one point. It kind of does that. Isn't this label just the cutest? It's inspired by Mario Sunshine, which is my all-time favorite video game. So there you have it. This is the white we're going to be using for the actual highlighting property of this highlighting palette. Alright, so now I have mixed in the white with all of the colors. So they're a little bit lighter and a little bit shinier than they were before. I don't know if you can see the difference that much, but I'm hoping it will help them become better at highlighting than simply adding pigment and coloring to my face. Alright, nice and shiny and... I almost said shiny and chrome. Shiny and clean. So from what I've seen, the next step is to put the rubbing alcohol into each of the colors. Alright, so we're just going to eyeball this. Apparently, you're kind of just supposed to. It's based on the texture you want the colors to be when you pour them back into the pan. So we're just going to see. It's supposed to be kind of a thick sludge, I believe. We'll add just a little bit at a time and stir it in until it gets the consistency we want it to be. That's so weird. It's such a weird texture. I don't know if you guys can see this, but like the top is completely liquidized, but it's solid in the middle. Oh, it's so weird. Oh, I like it. I like this. This is fun to play with. Okay, I need to stop playing with it and move on to the next color. And here is a college tip from someone who has been in college for a brief eternity and is destined to be in college for another brief eternity to come. Plastic cutlery is your friend. If you go to campus restaurants that have plastic cutlery, you should probably use it and then not throw it away when you're done, and then go back to your dorm and scrub it up really well, and then you can use it over and over again. And maybe, yeah, it doesn't sound like such a big deal to go scrub up a few metal utensils, but you know, on days when you're literally and metaphorically out of spoons, it is so, so nice to be able to just go pull out a plastic spoon from the cupboard and not have to wash up the dishes. It really conserves your energy. So that's a college hack from me for no reason related to this video. So now the moment of truth, we are going to try to get the colors in this pan in a full spectrum. I guess we start with pink because, I mean, they didn't teach me that in school. They taught me, you know, every rainbow starts with red, with the little Roy G. BV. I don't know why that an acronym seemed catchy. It doesn't really, it's just a name. But anyway, we'll start with pink this time because why not? It kind of ended up looking more red than orange, but that's okay. It's kind of looking like those irregular spectrums, you know? It doesn't really look very even. That's okay, that's okay. We're just doing this for fun. Should I have not let this get as liquid as it got? Probably. Pour it in there. There. That's totally how the professionals do it, right? But there you go. There is my palette, as interesting as it is. It's been 24 hours since I set the palette out to dry. I think it looks a lot better now than it did. It even has some nice fancy paper towel lines, which I'm a dork, but I think that looks cool. So I'm going to do a finger swipe test and see how much pigment comes up. So that is very, very pigmented. The gold is a little powdery, more so than the other shades for some reason or another. It's very colorful, kind of more so than I had anticipated and hoped for, but let's see if it comes up better with a brush. I'm gonna try to get it in one swipe, but this brush is a little small. It probably won't get much of the purple or the pink. Ooh, glittery powder everywhere. So that's what it looks like on the brush. And now I'll try to apply it. So I don't know if that's picking up, but it is actually not as colorful as I thought it would be, which is a good thing. I was hoping it would be more shimmery with a hint of color than straight on colorful. And I think it is. It succeeds at that, but it is still a bit too pigmented for daily wear, I think. It doesn't pick up that well on camera. No, it doesn't pick up as well as it does in real life. In real life, the purple is a bit dark, looks kind of like a bruise. I would definitely, if I did this again, I would definitely use about half of the purple pigment that I did. That way it would be a bit lighter when mixed with the white. That gold really does pick up the highlight nicely, and the red actually doesn't look too bad. I can't pull off those coral blushes like I was saying, but it looks good with the other colors mixed in. Still gotta say though, I wouldn't wear this daily, and that says a lot because if anything is rainbow, I will probably wear it, but I wouldn't wear this daily. It's a bit too colorful. It would probably be good if you were doing a cosplay that required rainbow skin, or a Halloween costume, or if you're going to a pride event. Something that requires a really in-your-face rainbow, or on-your-face rainbow. It is fun to wear though. I feel a bit like a magical iridescent fairy. Okay, so takeaways. If I were to ever do this again, I would definitely take the same pigments that I used and I would probably sprinkle them into a mixture of white until it was a pastel version of each of the colors, because although it did lighten considerably as the alcohol evaporated and it dried, I just don't think it lightened enough for it to actually work as a highlight. But I would definitely try this again. In fact, I may do this again in the future, either for my own amusement or for another video, kind of a follow-up, because I definitely do want a nice rainbow highlighter. And while this is very fun, and I do intend to wear this sometimes just to hang out around campus or go to fun events, I'll probably never wear this daily as part of my makeup routine. I'd like to try again, see if I can capture that perfect amount of color and highlight at the same time. So thank you guys for sticking to this experiment with me, even if we failed, because to quote Hannah Montana, everybody makes mistakes, everybody has those days. I hope if you try this that your rainbow sparkle magic science goes much better than mine did, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll catch you later!